So this is basically a continuation of the previous problem where we had an array of marks 30 given here 40, 55, 66, 60, 74, and the question was within this array find two marks, or rather two integers, that sum up to a target sum x. And here in the question we have our target sum is 100, right? And traversing through this array right now, we see that 30, you cannot add 30 to any number here to give you 100. 40, you can add it to 60 and you get 100. So here our two values, our two integers will be 40 and 60. So for this problem we decided to develop an equation to say, let's say we're trying to find a possible number within this array, or a possible integer within this array, that needs to be added to another possible number, and they both sum up. When you sum these numbers you get 100, right? We have possible mark is equals to, let's say, so you understand, if these two numbers, if you sum these two numbers and your solution is target x, then if you deduct one of these numbers from target x, you'll get the possible number, right? So we're just making one possible number the subject of the equation. So we have x as the target, we deduct the other possible number. Let's just say it's at index I. You can say marks index I, right? So this formula we developed here, it's basically saying the possible number is equals to the target sum minus another possible number within the array. So writing the function for this, we'll name it the same as the previous one, sum of marks, and our inputs will be marks, and our target sum is still x. But for this problem, let's create a hash table. We'll just call it tmarks for those possible numbers and call it. Remember from the data structures video, we said a dictionary will have curly braces, right? So this is where we'll store all our possible numbers. So what we'll do is, first we'll traverse through our array. So we'll say for I in marks, which is our array, for I in our array, then we can say, let me fix that. We can say that for I, that means for any mark in our array, then we'll say our possible. Remember from our formula we spoke about a possible mark. Our possible mark will be equals to x. We said it's equals to x minus the number, right? So now that we have our possible mark, we can say if this possible mark is in our hash table, is in our dictionary, the dictionary we created after tmarks. So if this possible number is inside this dictionary created, then we can return our possible mark with I, right? Because it simply shows that these two numbers will meet the created equation, right? But if they're not, then we can just say whatever values we have in here, tmarks at index I, then we can say it's true, right? So this will be done, and if all this is not true, then we just return an empty set, right? So this is basically our function where we have our equation, the one we spoke about earlier, where we solve for a possible mark, which is equals to the target sum minus I, which is the value of a possible mark within this array when you traverse through the array of marks. And if this possible marks is in our hash table, is in our dictionary, then we can say return as our two numbers, because they meet our equation. So they'll be our two numbers that sum up to the target sum. So let's try run this. First we'll create our array of marks, which is equals to, the array is already created, so I'm just going to copy and paste this. You can create a different array. We can even change these numbers or even add more if we want to. We can add more if we want to. It's just up to you. It really doesn't make a difference. Remember, the rule is we can't add each integer to itself, right? So we have to add it to a different integer. We said our target is 100. Then our print statement, we call in our function. Our function is sum marks with inputs marks, which is our array, and a target sum x, right? So if we run this, hopefully we get 40 and 60, which is the one we had in the array. 40 and 60, perfect. So basically from this, it's still the same as the previous video, just that we decided to use the equation of possible marks is equals to x minus another possible integer within our array, which gives us 40 and 60.